Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Meet the Underwriters webinar for Kevin Davis Insurance. I'm your host, Sherry Branson, Marketing Manager with Kevin Davis Insurance. I'm now joined by Kevin Davis, the founder of Kevin Davis Insurance. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning, Sherry. How are you doing today?
Doing well, thank you. Doing well. How are you?
Well, welcome to LA. You haven't been in LA in a while, have you?
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been half a year since I've been here. It's been quite a while. So it's nice to come to LA and see everybody rather than just email people back and forth.
Yeah.
And it's
Good to
beautiful
have you
weather.
back.
It's
Good to have
great
you
to be
back.
here. Great. And Kevin, we have some great brokers joining us today from all across the country. Welcome, everybody. And thank you for your questions that you've sent in. We get a lot of questions from people all the time. And today we're going to get to talk to some of our underwriters, people you've met before and seen before, and also some new people you may have not met before. So we have a great webinar today. It's very exciting. And Kevin, I'm joined by my first underwriter, Gabby. Gabby joins me right now. Good morning, Gabby.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning, Gabby.
Good morning, everybody. And Gabby, can you talk about what is your position with Kevin and how long you've been with the company?
Sure. I've been with Kevin Davis for 4 years, and I'm an underwriter in the states of South Carolina, Chicago, and Connecticut.
Oh, okay. That's a pretty all over
Yeah.
the country, kind of the East Coast and the center of the country and then the Southeast. Great. And what do you like to do for fun?
So I was thinking, what is the hobby that I have? Well, I have 2 small children, so that's my hobby.
That keeps you busy.
Yeah.
Toddlers,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
They have lots of energy.
They do.
Little bundles of energy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Great. And Gabby, I know you deal with brokers all over the U.S., so I'm sure there's some questions that come to mind that you'd like Kevin to answer today.
Yes, absolutely. So I have a couple questions, and the first question that I get asked a lot is, why is D&O coverage important to a community association?
Sure. When we talk about D&O for community associations, the community association board of directors' job is to make decisions. That's what they do every single day. And sometimes they don't make decisions that people like. So when they don't make decisions that they like, then guess what happens? They be held responsible for those decisions they make. And when they're held responsible, when they're sued, or when there's a claim against them, guess what happens? You need a D&O policy to respond. And so you're talking about D&O insurance. You're talking about a claim, a claim that's made against the board of directors, claim against the insured for a wrongful act. And then anytime there's a wrongful act that's occurred, they get named in a lawsuit, and that's why you need D&O insurance for community association. Community associations are unique because it's not a for-profit corporation or a standard non-profit corporation. It's a corporation that's there where you live. So every decision that's made is based on where you live, in terms of where you park your car, where do you add additions to your house, the noise you make, all those things are equated to where you live.
Oh, perfect. So you mentioned wrongful acts. D&O policy is called wrongful acts. So what is the difference between a D&O and an E&O?
Sure. When we talk about an E&O, is a errors and omissions policy. A wrongful act is a wrongful act policy, meaning any kind of wrongful act is any misstatement, misrepresentation. But the key word is, when you talk about wrongful act, is any act. Is any act the board can be held liable for. And that's the difference between an E&O and a D&O. E&O, errors and omissions. A wrongful act is any act the board can be held liable for. So.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for answering my question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gabby. Thank you,
Bye,
Gabby.
everyone.
Thanks, Gabby.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Kevin. And I'm now joined by Matt, another underwriter with Kevin Davis Insurance. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, Sherry.
Good morning. Great. Matt, could you tell us how long you've been with Kevin Davis and what your position is with the company and what territory you cover?
Yeah, I've been here. Been here for 3.5 years.
Okay.
I'm a D&O underwriter, D&O crime cyber underwriter for travelers. We write those policies for community associations.
Okay, great. And what states do you cover, Matt?
I cover 3: Virginia, Washington D.C., and Maryland.
Okay, great. Okay, so mostly on the East Coast, right? The Northeast and a little bit of the Southeast, Virginia. Okay, great. And what do you like to do for fun?
I like to just watch movies, hang out with my girlfriend, eat, study, and read.
And read. Okay, fantastic. Great. And now, Matt, I know you get a lot of questions from different brokers. Is there a particular question that you'd like Kevin to answer today?
Oh yeah, I have 2 questions for you, Kevin. First question is, what does it mean for a D&O policy to be claims made and reported?
Okay. Well, you know what? That is one of the questions we get asked all the time, because When you talk about a general liability policy, it's an occurrence-based policy. A D&O policy is a claims made, which means the claim has to be made and reported during the policy period. So if you have a policy effective from January the 1st, 2018 to 2019, and a claim is made before then guess what? There's usually no coverage unless you report it during the policy period. So the key to a claims made and reported policy, the claim has to be made and reported during the policy period. The wrongful act itself could occur 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and as long as there's no knowledge of that claim, then we provide coverage under a claims made and reported policy during the policy period. How's that? Good?
Good. And my second question, thank you for that, is does our D&O policy cover third-party EPL coverage?
Sure. That's a question that we get asked all the time. An EPLI policy, EPLI is covered under our D&O, which is employment practices. So whenever an employee sues an employer in a community association, that's covered. We talk about third-party EPLI is basic housing discrimination, where I am suing the board of directors because I'm a protected class, and we want to make sure it's covered under the D&O. So under the D&O policy, you do have something called employment practices, but when you talk about third-party discrimination claims, it's covered under the definition of a wrongful act, because a wrongful act is any act, including things like discrimination, wrongful termination, even though you're not for non-employees. Okay?
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you,
Sure.
Matt. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I'm now joined by another underwriter with Kevin Davis Insurance, Zara. Good morning, Zara.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Zara, can you talk about how long you've been with the company and what your position is with Kevin Davis?
So I've been with Kevin Davis for 4 years now. I am an associate underwriter, and it's been great.
Okay, great, great. And what territory do you cover? What states?
I have a few. I'm all over the place. I handle agents in Florida and South Carolina, North Carolina, McGriff, USI, SILE, SCAR. But then I also handle some territories, some states, Nevada, Nebraska, North Dakota, Oklahoma, Kansas.
Okay. Oh, you cover a big area,
Yeah.
very large area.
Yeah,
Mhm,
of course.
mhm. Great. And what do you like to do for fun?
I'm an avid reader. I love to
Okay.
read.
Okay.
I just finished my summer book, which is The Summer Wives by Beatrice Williams. It's pretty good.
It's a good one.
It's a pretty good read.
Okay. I'll add it to my list.
Okay.
Great. Zara, I'm sure you get a lot of questions. Can you ask Kevin, what is one question you wanted him to answer?
Oh, hey, Kevin. Okay, so one question that we get is why a D&O claim might be declined.
Sure. And that's a great question. I would say right now there's the number one reason why D&O claims are denied, because people don't understand it is a claims made and reported policy. And therefore, when that claim comes in, it must be reported during the policy period. What happens is that a claim comes in for like failure to take care of the common areas. But instead of putting us on notice, they wait till the policy expires. They put us on notice then. After that, it expired. So I would say that's the number one reason. The second reason is that even though the D&O provides breach of fiduciary duty type claims, there's an exclusion for property damage. And that property damage is, people don't understand, just because that board is sued for breach of fiduciary duty doesn't necessarily make it a D&O claim. Sometimes it is a general liability claim. It should be reported to the GL carrier. And we deny it based on we don't pick up claims for or arising out of bodily injury or property damage. Even though the board's responsibility is to manage the property, when they breach that duty, it's not always a D&O claim. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Great.
Thanks a lot, Sarah. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
Thank
Thanks
you.
for all your hard work. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Kevin, for answering that. I'm now joined by another underwriter, Angelica. Good morning, Angelica.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Good
Hi.
morning. Welcome. Welcome. Can you talk about what your position is with Kevin Davis and how long you've been with the company and what territory you cover?
Sure. I've been here for 4 years. I'm an underwriter and I handle the region of New York and New Jersey.
Okay, so the Northeast.
Yeah.
Yeah, busy. Keeps you busy.
Super busy.
Great. And what do you like to do for fun?
I'd say traveling. I like to travel.
I've
I've been around.
Done any recent good trips?
Yeah, I actually just came back from Sequoia. It was a really nice trip.
Oh, I've heard it's gorgeous up
Yeah,
there.
beautiful.
Did you drive up there?
Yeah.
How
Along
long
the
of a
mountain.
drive was
It
it?
was like 4 or 5 hours.
Oh, that's not bad. That's
From
not
LA,
bad.
it's not that bad.
Yeah, that's great. Beautiful. I like to
Mhm.
travel too. That's a great hobby. And I'm sure you get a lot of questions,
Mhm.
Angelica.
Yeah.
Is there something in particular you'd like Kevin to answer today?
Yeah. One question that I get a lot is what type of claims are most common under the D&O policy?
Sure. I said before, the first one you have is regular breach of fiduciary duty. Breach of fiduciary duty is when the board of directors are not acting in the best interest of the board of directors, acting in the best interest of the association, and then there's a claim made against them for breach of fiduciary duty. The second one I would say is arbitrary enforcement of the documents. The board's responsible for maintaining, protecting, and enhancing the association and enforcing the rules. Whenever they enforce the rules arbitrarily and not uniformly, you end up with a lawsuit for arbitrary enforcement of the documents, which leads to claims like discrimination and claims in that area. So breach of contract, I would say, is another big area that we see claims in, because what happens is that if you're serving on a not-for-profit board of directors and you don't like the job that the painter is doing or the roofing contractor is doing, what they do is just terminate the contract. Even though the contract says will be in effect for 2 years or a year, and you cannot terminate them, but they do it anyway, and we see a breach of contract suit. We see that. So I would say those are probably the main areas of D&O claims that we see. There's a lot of other ones that we see, but the main ones are those ones we just mentioned.
Got it. Yeah,
Great.
makes
Thank you,
sense.
Kevin.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Yep. Have a great day. I'm now joined by a marketing manager from Kevin Davis Insurance. I'm now joined by Alex. Good morning,
Hi,
Alex.
good morning, Sherry. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning.
Sure, good morning.
And Alex, could you talk about what territory you cover for Kevin Davis and what your position is?
Sure, absolutely. So my territory is, best way to describe it is North Carolina to Texas to Florida. So I have a wide range, basically a triangle.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, the southeast, like
The
west
southeast.
to the west a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great, fantastic. And your position is business development?
So yeah, marketing, getting out there, meeting new agents, working with our team to kind of develop, unique solutions for our clients.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic, great. And you deal with a lot of brokers all over the place, so I'm sure you get a lot of questions. Is there something in particular you'd like Kevin to answer?
Yeah, absolutely. So, crime, it's a two-part question, but crime is really hot right now. And agents are always asking me, what's an adequate limit of crime I should be purchasing?
Okay, a couple things you need to know. First of all, there are state laws that dictate what kind of limits you should have on your crime policy. So you can go to there. You also have the documents with outline, this is what you need for crime. However, I would say the basic, what they use, and this is what lending institutions ask for, is 3 months assessments plus reserves. So it's really important that when you do get a crime policy, you follow the documents, the state law, and what the lenders require. Now, what's interesting and new about on a crime side is that they ask for more than employee dishonesty. Historically, the states or the documents will say employee dishonesty. Now they've changed it. They've expanded the crime policy so they can pick up things like computer fraud, wire transfer fraud, and other kind of areas. And also too, which like social engineering is another area. So what you're looking at is an expansive area of the crime because crime has changed over the past several years. Employee dishonesty was the #1 cause of action for crime for a number of years. Now we have non-employee related claims. And you got to make sure you have adequate limit for all of them across the board, including adequate coverage for the management company. Because right now it's say that if you have a big loss, it's really going to come from the management company. So you have to make sure that your individual association is covered for the management company's funds, because the management company either A, may not have adequate coverage, or B, may not be protected because there's exclusion in there if the owner steals the funds. So I would say right now, get what you believe is adequate limit, 3 months assessments plus reserve, get that on all lines of business. Employee dishonesty, computer theft, wire transfer fraud, depositors forgery, all the coverage you can get, because right now they all are impacting community associations.
And Kevin, you mentioned social engineering. That actually brings me to my next question. It's a hot topic right now. All my agents are talking about it. So how does social engineering impact community associations?
Well, you know what? Social engineering is amazing because people have a difficult time understanding it. And what happened to me about 3 months ago was kind of interesting. We were socially engineered. I was on my way out of town. The person who handles our finances called me and said, "How many gift cards do you want?" Apparently, she had an email that said, I wanted gift cards to give out to travel the place I was at. And what happened was, because I was there to answer the phone, she never sent the gift cards. If I wasn't there to answer the phone, she may have sent 10, 15, 20 gift cards to a fictitious account, somebody pretending, masquerading as me in order to do it. So that is social engineering. We're seeing more and more and more social engineering claims than we've ever seen before. Social engineering is somebody masquerading as an individual and saying, please forward me the money. It's not covered under any other crime policy at all, only covered under social engineering endorsement. And right now, I have to say, it is the number one source of claims that we're seeing, more so than anything else related to crime, and probably related to D&O, to the point where we probably will do a social engineering webinar over the next couple of months. So, yeah. Thanks, Alex. I think there's some good questions.
Appreciate it.
Thank you,
Jerry.
Kevin. Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Alex. Thank you. Great. Thank you, Kevin. Great answer. And social engineering definitely is hot right now. We're getting a lot of questions about that. And I'm now joined by Kevin. Kevin Pratt. Good morning, Kevin.
Hi, good morning, Jerry. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing
Good.
well. Thank you.
And Kevin, can you tell everybody how long you've been with Kevin Davis Insurance and what your territory is in your position?
Sure. Yeah. So I've been here for a little over 12 years now, and I primarily work in the Northeast region. So Connecticut, Massachusetts, Maine, New Hampshire.
Okay, so the Northeast corridor, as they say.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, fantastic. And Kevin, what do you like to do for fun? What do you have hobbies that you want to talk about?
Yeah, sure. So I really like going out and taking photos. Mainly, I'll go out like here downtown. I'll take pictures of the cityscape or street photography and things like that. Yeah.
Great, fantastic. That's a lot of fun. That's
Yeah,
a
it is.
relaxing interest. I like to do that as well.
Oh wow.
Right. And I know you deal with a lot of brokers across the U.S. So is there any particular question or questions you'd like Kevin to answer today?
Sure. Yeah. Morning, Kevin. So I have a couple of questions. So cyber is pretty relatively new, and one thing that I get asked a lot is, as a community association, why would I need cyber if my property manager handles all of collecting the data and the funds for on our behalf?
Yeah, and I tell you, that is the number one question I get asked all the time. The problem is that number one, if there's a loss, if there's a data breach, and it's against the association, the property manager can say a couple things. A, it was not our fault. We didn't do it. B, yeah, we do it, but we can't do anything about it because we have no money. And if they go through any one of those things, what happens is the association is ultimately responsible. See, it's not, even though the property manager has access to the funds and they control the funds, that's not their responsibility. Responsibility is the board of directors of the association. And what happens again is that there are situations where the board of directors can cause the loss. I mean, they can have paper files in their basement or in their supply room, and they have from people's driver's license or applications that they can lose, and that's a data breach. Has nothing to do with the property manager. You also have a data breach based on the board of directors sending out the data breach information of people's social security numbers or names or tracking information or credit card information by accident, by pushing the wrong button. You want to send it to the board members who are delinquent. Here's that information and send it to reply all. So there's situations out there where the property manager is not involved at all, or the property manager can say it wasn't our fault, or the property manager can say, guess what? We understand, but we can't do anything about it because we're bankrupt. So they should have their own, association have their own individual cyber policy to pick up all the cyber exposures, the liability, the fines and penalties, and all the first party claims, which is the typical first party, just going out there and notification and call centers and all that. So that's the reason why they need it. Right now, associations need their own cyber policy because they ultimately responsible for all the data that they collect.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple things that I didn't think about there, so that's good information. Thanks. Another question related to cyber also. So there's a couple different parts to cyber, and something that I get asked pretty frequently is, what is ransomware, and does our policy provide coverage for ransomware or extortion?
Sure. Ransomware is another, again, like social engineering, ransomware is fairly new. And historically, we did not pick up ransomware until we received our first ransomware claim about 2 years ago against a community association that had key cards. And once they started to try to get into the building and get into their rooms, they could not get in. The whole system was locked down, and they had to pay Bitcoins in order to get it opened back up. Now, since then, we did look at our cyber policy and said we must include e-extortion coverage on our cyber policy. So what we do, we're now adding it on there. And any association out there that has its own server in the community association, it is a prime candidate for an extortion threat. All you have to do is walk in the building, look for the server, you see the server, it's done, it's over. So right now, the e-extortion coverage, the social engineering coverage, these cyber type coverages that nobody really talking about are probably the #1 exposures that we will see claims in. We won't see a lot of data breach claims, but we'll see extortion and social engineering claims.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you, Kevin.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Kevin. Kevin and Kevin. Great. I'm now joined by an umbrella underwriter. Now we shift over to the umbrella side. I'm joined by Kim. Good morning, Kim.
Good morning, Sherry.
Hi. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
And Kim, could you tell us what your position is with Kevin Davis and what territory you cover?
Sure. So my position is I do all the umbrella new business. I do it for the entire United States. So
That's a big territory.
yes, that's a big territory. All of them.
That keeps you very, very busy.
Yes, I'm very busy.
Great, great. And Kim, could you talk a little bit, what are your hobbies? Like, what do you like to do for fun?
Okay, well, for my hobbies, I'm a bit of a nerd, so I do like to collect action figures. I have like a small collection of some of my favorite heroes and villains that I just like to. I like to go to conventions and try and get some of the special ones. So
Comic-Con and those kind of conventions.
yeah,
Those are fun. Those are a lot of fun.
yeah.
Yeah, they look great. Fantastic. Well, that's a nice hobby.
Yeah.
That keeps you busy. And I'm sure you deal with a lot of brokers all over the U.S., as you said.
Yes.
Is there any particular question you'd like Kevin to answer today?
Yes. So one of the questions I do get a lot is the fact that, you know, is our umbrella a excess umbrella or a true umbrella?
All right, that's a very good question. People have to understand that most of the umbrella policies out there are excess policies, which means is that whatever the primary says, the excess goes over the primary. It doesn't broaden the policy any more than what's provided in the primary. What ours is, we have a true umbrella, which drops down and picks up additional coverages that the primary may not pick up. The one coverage that we see more so than not is when it comes to like third-party discrimination claims. Third-party discrimination claims are excluded under the primary, but sometimes it can be picked up under the umbrella depending on how the claim is brought. So the umbrella is broader than it is a straight excess policy. If you have an option to buy an umbrella or an excess policy, I would say make sure you have a true umbrella, especially if the rates are the same. Even if the rates aren't the same, that little bit of extra amount of money gives you extra amount of broadening coverages that I think will come in handy in the long run. So did I answer the question?
Yes, you did. Yeah, that's
All right, good.
Great. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Kim.
Thank
so
you.
much. Yes, have a great day.
Mhm.
And I'm now joined by another umbrella underwriter, Angelica. Good morning, Angelica.
Good morning, Sherry. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. Can you talk a little bit about your position with Kevin Davis and what territory you cover?
Yes, I've been here since 5 years ago.
Okay,
It's
5-year
gonna be 5
anniversary.
years. Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And I'm an umbrella underwriter, and I cover or I work on the west side of the United States.
The western part of the U.S.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a big territory as well.
Yes,
California is one of your
correct.
states?
California, Texas, Hawaii. Those are my bigger
Okay,
states.
so-
Washington.
Okay, some very pretty states.
Mhm.
Great, fantastic. And what do you like to do for fun?
Since I started here, I joined the knitting group, and I've been doing that since then. I have my mom doing it, my aunt.
Oh, you recruited new
Yes,
leaders.
exactly. So, and we donate what we do to homeless or like hospitals.
Children's hospitals.
Yeah,
I believe
exactly.
weren't you needing little hats for newborns?
Correct.
For
yes.
children's hospital.
And
That's
blankets,
wonderful.
little tiny blankets for newborns.
Oh, great. That's great work.
Yeah, so
wonderful.
we're still doing that with our families.
Very involved with the community. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. Great. Angelica, you deal with a lot of brokers all over the U.S. I'm sure there's some questions that have come up that you'd like Kevin to answer today.
Yes, one question that my agents ask is, why do they have to sign the membership agreement?
Yes, people hate signing those things. Basically, our umbrella program is a risk purchasing group. What a risk purchasing group means that we have a similar group of people, community associations. They all have similar backgrounds, similar exposures. So we lump them into a group, and then we charge a membership fee to put them in a group. And the benefits of that group is the premiums are very, very low. So instead of charging $1,000 per mil, we're able to charge $200 or $300 per mil. And that's the difference. And that membership agreement says you're part of this group and therefore are eligible for a lot lower rate. So it makes it's uncomfortable for certain people to want to sign it, and you do get pushback a lot. But again, once you sign it, you're members of this group, and you're eligible for a really significantly lower rate than you would if you didn't have that membership. So it's a good reason, very, very good reason.
Very beneficial, yes.
Yes, there you go.
Great. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you so
Thanks
much.
a lot. Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you.
Thank you, Sherry. You have a good day.
Have a great day.
Thanks.
Mhm. Hello, are we frozen? We're frozen. Which one of us is frozen? Okay, looks like you're frozen there. So I will say that I guess that answers all of the questions. Oh, there you go. You're back? You back? Hello, Sherry. Oh.